I'm going to show you how to make the 3 simplest flowers from plastic. And all you need is one big bag from paper towel packaging, for instance, or several smaller bags in different packaging. Any kind of packaging will do. I'll show you. You don't need to measure. All you need to know is whether it's a square or a long strip. Also, all you need is some wire, a sharp pair of scissors, and some wire. I prefer to use floral wire because it's coated and it's good for longevity, especially in the outdoors. But you can use any kind of wire that you have around the home. So the easiest flower to do, especially with kids, is you want to cut 2 long strips. It doesn't matter how thick they are, how perfect they are. As you can see, this one is kind of ripped and it doesn't matter. You can also do 3 strips. I'm going to show you with 2. This is a good one to do with kids. So not a lot of real good motor skills required. And here's what you do. You put one strip on top of the other and you scrunch it up. You just hold your fingers and scrunch both strips up at the same time. Now it could be that one moves. See that? It just moved. So you can have a weight over here holding it down, or somebody's pair of hands, or help your kid out. If your kid is doing the scrunching, you can put your hands over there. But as you can see, this top one is scrunching up earlier than the bottom one. That's totally fine. All you're doing is you're scrunching it all up. And once it's all scrunched up, this is what it looks like. Then you take your wire and you bend it in half and you put it around the middle of the scrunched up plastic that you have in your hand. Again, no need for measuring, just approximately around the middle. And you squeeze everything really, really tight, and you hold the 2 pieces of wire next tight and twist. Twist, 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 twist. So you have this nice little twisted section over here. It could be 1/4 of an inch like it is here. It could be a little more. It doesn't matter. You do want to have these 2 last ends over here, though you can wire this to whatever you're wiring this to. In my case, I will be wiring it to a fence. So then the last step to do is to fluff it out. So there's 2 layers of plastic here. You just want to fluff those layers out like this. Fluff, 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 fluff. That's one side. And then you go to the other side. You just pull them out. You can be pretty rough about it. The plastic will hold up to your tugging and pulling. No, not a problem at all. And once everything is fluffed out, you sort of groom it with your fingers. And see, from 2 strips of plastic to a pretty little flower, just like that. The other way to do it is also with strips. So here I have, in this case, 3 strips. These are a little bit wider, but about the same length, maybe a little shorter actually. And it doesn't matter what side is up the right way, what side up is the wrong way. It doesn't matter at all. But what you want to try to do here, it's sort of like folding a paper fan. So all 3 strips on top of the other neatly, and then you fold about 1 inch forward. Then you pick it up and you fold back. And then you pick it up and you fold back. So you keep going back and forth like this, just picking it up and folding it on itself, picking it up and folding it on itself. I don't bother measuring any of this. It's about 1 inch. It's a little more than 1 inch. It doesn't matter. Thicker plastics, this might be a little tougher to do, but you'll have better fold marks. This soft plastic will not hold the fold marks. So I'm picking it up and folding it back on itself. Picking it up and folding it back on itself. I'm not rolling it. Sometimes people try to roll like this over and over. That won't do it. You got to pick it up and fold it back on itself. Pick it up and fold it back on itself. Again, pick it up and fold it back on itself. And now I'm coming to the end. So here's my last fold, and this piece I'll just fold this way. So now you have a nice little paper fan. So if you were to unfold just a part of it, it would look like a paper fan. But we're not unfolding it just yet. We're holding it tight together, and then we're taking another wire, again, sort of gently folding it in the middle, and sliding that wire through the middle of this, approximately in the center. No need to measure. And then again, you want to smush the plastic tight, tight, tight into your wire loop and twist your wire as many times as you would like. So you have 2 wire ends and a little twisted section that's holding it nice and tight together. And now all you're going to do is fan it out and then fluff it out. So there's 3 layers here. I want to make sure that all my 3 layers get fluffed out. It's a very technical term, fluffed out. I'm sure there's another term I can use to describe this, but that's the term, fluff, that I like to use. Okay, that's one side, and now the other side. Sometimes if some portions are clear plastic, they're a little bit hard to see at first, but totally doable. So that's one layer fluffed out, and now I got these last 2 layers to fluff out. And there it is. And then again, you hold it by its stem and you sort of fluff it out. So comparison, this is a slightly neater version of the flower. This is a more rough edged version of the flower, but they're both perfectly fine. Super duper easy to make. Here's another flower to make. This one is a tiny bit more complicated, but really not much. All you need is a bunch of squares of plastic. So I'm starting out with 3 big squares, and you notice that this one is messed up. This plastic got stretched. It doesn't matter. You can do this with 1 square at a time, or you can do it all 3 or 2 or 3 or more squares at a time. The softer the plastic, the more squares you can do. And this is the basic paper snowflake idea. You fold it in half, then you fold it in half again. So this is your center. This is all folded. All the cut edges are here. And then you fold it in half again. So this is your center of the flower. So you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut essentially a petal or a teardrop shape, whatever you want to call it. You just want to cut it out nicely. I am sometimes not so neat about it, but there it is. And then you unfold it and you have 3 flowers. 1, 2, and 3. So you can stack them. You can stack them perfectly or imperfectly. I prefer imperfectly. And you can make that into a flower. But I'm going to add a few more. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 more squares. So I'm going to cut these smaller. This is a smaller square. So Stack them up neatly together. As you can see, not perfect again. Fold them in half, then fold them in half again. And this is your center of the flower. The cut edges are on the outside. And then you fold in half again. So you have your little triangle. And now you got to hold the center of the flower and cut this into a teardrop shape or petal shape, whatever you want to call it, just going around. And sometimes it comes out perfect on the first try, and sometimes it doesn't. You can be fussy or not. And then you open it up, and now you have a bunch of flowers here. Let's see. Open up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now all you have to do is decide which order they're going to go on top of these flowers. I'm going to put this one in here, and then this one, and then that one, and then this one, and then this one. So you want to make sure they're all centered one on top of the other. And this is where it gets a little fussy. So you take your wire and you fold it in half. And then you hold all 6 flowers, or however many layers you have, and you sort of focus on where the middle of the flower is. You can take the time to measure it and draw 2 holes. I don't bother to. So all I'm going to do is poke these wires through the middle. So first I'm going to poke 1 wire through, and depending on the thickness of the plastic, it can be a little more difficult to do. This is many layers and it's super easy. So I poked in 1, and now I'm going to poke in the other. And I just keep my finger from my other hand underneath it until I feel it start poking through. And there they are. So 2 wires poked through. I'm going to pull them all the way through. And because they were already folded, I have them all the way. I know exactly that's where the center is. So now I just want to smush my flower down a little bit. Squish the petals to get the wire together. And do the twist again. Again, just a little bit. So this is what it looks like. This is my wire for wiring it on. There's the little stem. And now I just fluff my flower. And there it is. A beautiful little flower. So 3 super easy techniques. Super easy to do. I hope that you do them for yourself, and you'll do a few for me. Thank you.